Today we're going to cover Chapter 2, Section 2B. It's going to be Part 2, and we're going to be talking about domain. So the domain of a function are all the x values of the function. And we're going to read the domain from the points left to right. Just like you read words on a page, you read them from left to right. We're going to create our domain in interval notation as we read the graph from left to right. Now, when you're asked to give the domain, you always start out by thinking the domain is going to always be all real numbers, except when there is a variable in the denominator, and what we're going to do is set the denominator not equal to 0, because whatever number we get would make the denominator a 0, which is undefined. So when there's a variable in the denominator, that's the first exception. The second one, when there is a variable under a square root, and then we're going to set the expression that's under that radical symbol greater than or equal to 0, because we do not want any imaginaries. And then here, if there's a variable under the square root and it's in the denominator, then instead of setting it greater than or equal to 0, we're only going to set it greater than 0. Because again, remember, it can't equal 0 when it's in the denominator. So that's why we take away the or equal to part. So let's go ahead and take a look at some examples. Now, when you're given a list of ordered pairs and they're asking you to find the domain, all you're going to do is pull out all of the x coordinates from the ordered pair. So here my domain is going to be 3, 4, 5, and 8. Whenever your function is linear, this is in y equals mx plus b, it's always all real numbers. And again, in interval notation, negative infinity to positive infinity. Remember, we're always starting out, unless it's a list of ordered pairs, the domain is always all real numbers, except when you have a variable that's in the denominator, when you have a variable under the square root, and when you have a variable under the square root in the denominator. Those are our 3 exceptions to the all real numbers. So the next one, same thing. The x is not in the denominator of the fraction. This is linear. It's y equals mx plus b form. My slope here is just a fraction, and that's okay. So this one is also all real numbers. The next one, notice this is the graph of a parabola. It's a quadratic equation. It's got a x raised to the second power. So again, no fractions here, no radicals. This one is also all real numbers. The next one, no radical, no fraction. So this one is also all real numbers. Now we're going to be graphing all of these coming up. Okay, this is the cube graph, and we're also going to be shifting our graphs. Now the next one, here's our first exception. We have a variable in the bottom of our fraction. So remember, what we want to do is set the denominator not equal to 0. So this is what x cannot equal. So in words, it's all real numbers except when x equals 0. So x cannot equal 0. Now, in interval notation, let's put this on a number line. So I'm going to put 0 right here. So 0 is an empty circle. And then it's everything else on my number line. So in interval notation, this will go from negative infinity up to the 0 with a parentheses because it's an open circle. So where that open circle is, that's going to be my u. And then it continues again, starting at the 0 and going to positive infinity. Just like before, the infinity and the negative infinity always gets parentheses. Here we're going to go ahead and notice we've got a fraction again. So what we have to do is take that denominator, set it not equal to 0, because we need to figure out what x cannot equal. And x cannot equal positive 5. So again, it's going to be all real numbers except when x equals 5. So x cannot equal 5. So again, if you wanted to graph it for yourself, you could put 5 here. It's going to have that open circle, and then it's everything else on the number line. So again, in interval notation, it goes from negative infinity up to the 5 with a parentheses because it's an open circle, and then union 5 to infinity. The next one, same thing, it's a fraction. We got to set that denominator not equal to 0. So 2x plus 1 not equal to 0. Subtract the 1. 2x cannot equal negative 1. Divide by 2. And x is not equal to negative half. It would make the denominator a 0. So again, in interval notation, from negative infinity up to the negative half, with a parenthesis around everything, unioned with negative half to positive infinity. And again, if you need to see it on a number line, you can do that. Number 9, same thing. I need to set the denominator not equal to 0. Now, I can either factor this or use the square root method. If I just want to try the square root method, remember whenever you do this, you're going to get positive and negative 1. It might be better to factor it if you think you're going to forget that plus minus. Now, for this one, let's go ahead and give ourselves a visual. So x cannot equal negative 1 and positive 1. So this is where my open circles are going to be. And then it's everything else on my number line. So I got a bunch of stuff here going on. So negative infinity, infinity. So for this one, it's going to be from negative infinity up to the negative 1, parenthesis, union, negative 1, positive 1, union, 1 to infinity. Okay, so for this one, still the same thing. It's a fraction. So I'm going to go ahead and 1. When I go to do this one, watch what happens. X squared plus 4 cannot equal 0. When I go to solve this one, x squared equals, I can't factor that because remember there is no way to factor the sum of two squares. But when I go to solve this, this is imaginary. I only want to exclude real numbers. So because this gives me plus and minus 2i, I'm not excluding imaginary. So this one is all real numbers. So there are no real numbers to exclude. So remember, when it's under a square root and it's not in a fraction, remember what we want is what's under the radical not to be a negative number, because we're not looking to exclude imaginaries. So I'm going to set what's under the radical to be greater than or equal to 0. So in interval notation, this is going to be from 0 with a bracket to infinity. This one, same thing, x minus 3, just the expression that's under the radical, greater than or equal to 0. Add 3. X has to be greater than or equal to positive 3. Now, if you wanted to see these on a number line, let me go back and do number 11. 0 is located right here. And again, because it's greater than or equal to, it's a bracket going that way. Same thing on this one. Here's the 3. So it's a bracket going to infinity. So in interval notation, 3 with a bracket to infinity. Next one, same thing. It's a radical. Again, I'm setting what's the expression underneath the square root symbol to be greater than or equal to 0. I'm going to add 1. 2x is greater than or equal to 1. Divide by 2, and x is greater than or equal to 1/2. And again, in interval notation, bracket 1/2 going to infinity. For number 14, same thing. No fraction, just a radical. So it has to be positive, so it's got to be greater than or equal to 0. I'm going to go ahead and just add the x. And then I get 4 is greater than or equal to x. Now, if you want to flip it around, remember, Mr. Alligator here is chomping down on the 4. So if you switch it around, you don't have to. Just make sure that he's still chomping down on that 4. And then this is going to be negative infinity up to 4 with a bracket. So again, on the number line, the 4, negative infinity, positive infinity, and it would be a bracket going that way. So for 15, we just take what's underneath the square root symbol, but this time because it's a denominator, only greater than 0. And again, on your number line, here's the 0, and it would be a parenthesis going this way to infinity. So it's going to be parenthesis 0 to infinity. And then 16, I'm going to take what's underneath the square root symbol, make it greater than 0, add the 1. It looks similar to 13, but my symbol's different. Divide, and x is greater than 1/2. So instead of a bracket, it's a parenthesis when that radical is in the denominator. 2 more, and we're done. Okay, for the last 3 examples, notice I've got a radical in the numerator, a radical in the denominator. So I've got a fraction exclusion, and then I've got the radical numerator. So I need to exclude where both of them are true. So let me go ahead and do the exclusion for 17. So when you have a square root in the numerator, you're going to set that expression underneath the radical to be greater than or equal to 0. But for the denominator, it's only greater than 0. So now I need to solve both. X is greater than or equal to 1. Subtract 2. X is greater than negative 2. And now let me go ahead and put both of them on the number line because I'm looking to see where they're both are true. So this one I'll do in blue, and I'll put my 2 numbers on my number line, least to greatest. So for the first one in blue, it's going to be either a bracket or a closed circle, however you want to look at it. So it could be a closed circle going this way, or it could be the bracket. And then I'll do this one in red. And this will be an open circle on the negative 2, or you can think of it as a parentheses, and it's going this way. So what I want for my solution is where I see both red and blue. So that's going to be from this point all the way to infinity. So my domain here is going to be from 1 with a bracket, because it's a closed circle, to infinity. Let's try 18. Same thing. I'm going to take what's under the square root symbol, make it greater than or equal to 0 because it's in the numerator, and then the denominator is just greater than 0. Solve each one. Divide. And x is greater than or equal to 1/2. And then over here, subtract the 3, and x has to be greater than -3. And again, on my number line here, I'm looking for where it is both. So I'll go ahead and graph the first one in blue. Close circle or a bracket on the half, going to infinity. And then the second one in red, open circle on -3, also going to the right because it's going towards infinity. And again, the exclusions are where I see both red and blue. So it's from the 1/2 with a bracket to infinity. Last one. Again, set the numerator greater than or equal to 0. The denominator is only greater than 0. So for the numerator, add 1. For the denominator, you can either do the square root method, or you could also factor it. So if you do the square root method, remember you're getting plus and minus 9 after you square root this thing. So after you find the square root, you get x is greater than or just greater than plus or minus 9. So let's put all these numbers on my number line. And again, least to greatest. So -9, +1, +9. So for the first one, do this one in red. So it's going to be a closed circle or a bracket on +1 going to infinity. And then for the -9, do the -9, that one's going to be an open circle or a parenthesis going, let me do it in blue, just to show you the different colors. So then this one would go here. And then the last one we'll do in purple. Well, let me do it in pink, and then I'll do the overlap in purple. So this one also open circle going to infinity or a parentheses. So I need to see where I see all 3 lines, and I see the pink, the red, and the blue right here. So this would be my domain. So it's going to go from 9 to infinity. And notice it's a parentheses around the 9 because of the open circle there on the pink. That is it for section 2.2.